Hello, okay, so let's go for a little tour of different sitting role-playing game. So I'm going to show you a part of my collection which I think is interesting and with different style. I hope it will help you, and sorry for my English, please excuse me, I'm French. And so remember just one thing, it's not pure truth, it's just my opinion. I'm not I know RPG, but it's not the only way to see things. It's just my view on stuff. The classic Dungeons and Dragons. This is the second edition. So Dungeons and Dragons is remarkable because your character a class, have a race, and gain levels. And there is magic, there is monster, it's fantasy, and it's made to basically Dungeons and Dragons doesn't come with an setting or universe. You have to make it by yourself or to buy a special book with a setting universe. But you can make pretty anything you want, and you can create easily a lot of stuff. But with race, class, and all this kind of thing, and to play in a fantasy setting with magic. This game is called Bloodlust. It is also a fantasy game in medieval time, but the big difference with Dungeons and Dragons is that you don't have any class, no levels, and there is very little magic in fact. The only magic you find in this game is because each player will carry a weapon with also a god. They are god weapon, and all the interest in the game is the relationship between your character and the weapon they carry. And also this game takes in account psychology, mental status, craziness, and a lot of adult themes which are completely absent from Dungeons and Dragons. All the games don't take place in a fantasy world far from ours. Some takes place in our world. For instance, the Call of Cthulhu, a very classic RPG game, is a game about occult investigation in the 20s or 30s in the universe created by H.P. Lovecraft. It's very dark, very grim. There are a lot of monsters. Characters are only human with knowledge and try to solve enigma, to solve riddles in order to avoid horrible death and insanity. It's a game where you play human in a world faced to unspeakable thing and monstrosity. It's an horror game. Also set in our world, this game is called Vampire. In this game, you are going to play a vampire in a world at a time or in the past or in the future. Period can be really changed, but you play in our world and you play in a realistic way some kind of a vampire who has power, who has influence, and it's a kind of political games. In fact, you have to deal with your resource. You are going to have blood. How you interact with other vampire. It's a lot of politics and it's a lot of mystery. It's very interesting, and this game comes in a series which propose a lot of other fantasy creatures like werewolves, changelings, and mages. So far, all the game I've shown you takes place with magic and fantasy elements. This game has no such things. It's called cyberpunk. It's in the near future, in a dystopia, so it means it's very dark, very unoptimistic. And there you play rogues who try to fight the man, fight the system. There are cybernetics, there are a lot of high-tech items, and it's very realistic. It's one of the most realistic game I know, and except a few sci-fi elements, it's really in our world, and you have to be very careful. And it's one of my favorite game and the first RPG I really played. This is Rock Trader. This is a sci-fi game which takes place in our universe in the far future in 40,000. A lot of element of fantasy in it, but in the same time a lot of element of science fiction. You play a spaceship captain, exploring space and discovering new planets, new new race, new alien, new technology, and to expand the domain of mankind. It's a very deep game with a lot of possibilities. One player is going to play the captain, the rogue trader, and all the other players are going to play their crew. It's a very interesting game where you are heading into unexplored space about a huge ship, and you have to take care of your ship, and there are a lot of gestion and management. There are not only serious games, there are also funny games. For instance, this one, Cats, make you play a cat in a world where cats have psychic power, are responsible for most of mankind evolution, and consider humans as slaves. And so you have to be a cat, act like a cat, and try to make your big plans hiding from humans and hiding your powers. It's very funny to change your point of view. This one, in Nomine Satanis Magna Veritas, makes you play an angel or a demon incarnate on Earth to win the soul of human for the god or the devil. But it's very parodic. It's very funny because it doesn't take this seriously, and it's only to show how bureaucratic stuff can be. And yes, it's hard to describe, but it's funny. Okay, so this is was a quick tour of my collection. I have at least 1 dozen more games, and there are hundreds more you can buy. And there are also a lot of free games which often propose very original rules and settings. You have to keep in mind that role-playing games are to make our imagination work. So basically any games can be modified to do what you want. But there are a lot of people who have been doing this for years and who create really interesting things. So I hope you liked this little tour, and if you have any question, don't hesitate. I will always answer this subject with pleasure as it is one of my main hobby. Have a nice day.